This is right. Yes, it is right. All right. All right, all right. Dear future me, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm really fine actually because everyone in our hometown is coming home for the holidays, especially our cousins. We are really super close to our cousins and we like to play around with each other for legal reasons. That's a normal one, yeah. So we like to play with each other and we hang out like friends. And I guess we like to do it in our grandparents' house too. Yeah. So it's also like kind of what is the word? What is the word? We kind of try to make the grandparents not having to be lonely. I guess we are just kind of like we're kind of like what is it called? The nursery, I guess. Nursery home, like nursery home. We try to not make them lonely, I guess. That's the thing. And today we're continuing the game. We are going to go through the investigation part again, because I already know it's going to be the investigation part, and then after the investigation part we go to a trial part again. That's usually how Ace Attorney games is. So it's the structure, and I think we're going to go through the investigation part. Okay, let me window this first because I cannot see, it's so small on my screen. It's so small. Let me wait. Okay, that's better. Okay, let's go. We're continuing from the is this the part? Yeah, investigation part 2. True. Where Miss Sato actually joins us. She's back. There she is. Oh, this room, it's been too long. It hasn't changed in the slightest though. And it's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar. I don't know when you might return, and I want everything to be as you'd left it. But it has been some 6 months, it's true.
So is your father alright, Susie? What happened?
My father? Yes, Professor Mikotoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because of the telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason. Yeah, COVID. He extracted the virus that I already named. I shouldn't name it, but it has been named. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you, that it was all a trick. My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that. Well, we're all delighted to have you back. It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium. The Internal Forensic... That's the same symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned. Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris.
Oh,
You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan. I forgot what happened. It's in episode 1 of this game, but I don't remember. About Kazuma? I know. I'll tell you all that I can. When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely. That awful trial? Oh yes, for the murder of Giselle Brett.
oh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie?
Oh, well, yes, since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice.
Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it, don't you know?
Yes, I suppose so.
I want to play at being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe.
I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Miss Susato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikotoba summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter that it was something to do with the convex loot we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings. What? That's right, the very large dark collar we found with the B emblem on it. It seems Mr. Natsume included the drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as shit. Why would that be then? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answer for myself. And I've decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets.
Oh, Susie!
That's very meaningful. Look, Susato-san giving Iris there. Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries will attend. Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikotoba is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Yes, His Excellency Judge Seishiro Jigoku. You've met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year in the Supreme Court. You cannot possibly have forgotten. It's the judge. That terrible trial of yours when you were accused of murder. Yes, I try to think that as a positive turning point in my life these days. Well, it was just Judge Jigoku who presided over that trial. His name means hell. Jigoku means hell. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy never to see that man's face again in my life. Oh, well, anyway, as Father was invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I plotted with him, and in the end, he agreed to me going on ahead. Yes, about that symposium. It seems as though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event by himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional result, he'll get the job of Attorney General. Attorney General? The most senior position in the British justice system. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said anyway. A Apparently, it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Mikotoba know Lord Strongheart personally then? I wonder. Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech all about this very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to much of it. How trying of you. Giselle Brett. The woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Giselle Brett. That's the name I won't forget as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out that an English woman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. What? Wait, what? What? It didn't actually exist? But how can that be? It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin, and she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front. A front? Who on earth was she then? Miss A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. What? Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery. But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could that woman have been up to? I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of, she is a spy, is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand. She's a spy. She's a British government spy. While all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. I'm afraid so. Asian. Who on earth was she? And why do I feel as though I've heard that name before somewhere? Where? A Shin. After my friend's race trial, the reporter who actually killed Mr. Brett said something very strange. I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on in that visiting student's fate. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, that he'll never. Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at that time. But later, I visited the man in his prison cell to ask him what was he going to say about Kazuma-sama. And what did you learn? After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unlanded on the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of consulate staff there. Should have been? Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It's just disappeared. He's still alive. He's still alive. Kazuma is still alive. Kazuma is still alive. Kazuma is still alive. Our government tried to cover up the fact up, it seems. They ordered a grave on the cliff by our homes. They erected a grave on the cliff by our hometown. Except Kazuma-sama isn't there. Did Professor Mikotoba know about this? Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's bodies as we speak. I just don't believe it. And what is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? Kazuma mystery. Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Buria was definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? We didn't. We didn't. Could it be? Could it be that he's actually still... Oh, stop it, Mr. Naruhodo. It's too much to bear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he? And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly. You're right. So if Kazuma hadn't actually been dead at all, it would mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us. But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing. I suppose that's true, yes. But he might? The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I cannot let it. Because if it turns out not to be true, then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what that might do to me. Oh, Miss Usato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's Usato-san we're talking about after all. So I probably shouldn't push it now. Push it now. There's nothing else. Oh, I'm so looking forward to making you some tea again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's amazing with a little cake, something to do on the side. I'd really love to see you some sort of Japanese sweet alongside your matcha, but I suppose that's simply not possible given how long I've been staying here in London. Well, I do like the little chocolates you put on my tea. They go wonderfully. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, you wouldn't you? That gives me a warm glow inside for some reason. Aww. You have water gently boiling on the stove, I see. It feels wrong somehow if I cannot hear the water bubbling away. And we have plenty of logs. It's not like we have to worry about paying for gas. It's important to open the window for fresh air when the fire's burning though. You cannot keep it closed just because it's cold outside. It could be a matter of life and death. Yeah, that's true. Avoiding the freezing winter air is a matter of life and death too, if you ask me. That's true, that's true. Oh well, perhaps a nice cup of tea will warm you up later. What is this actually? The scope? Spade? I'm sure I've told you before, Mr. Naruhodo. It's not a spade. It's a shovel. Of course it's a shovel. No shovels are for digging, and that's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. No spades are for digging. That's for scooping up for loose material. It's a shovel. The great spade shovel war rages on. I still don't get it. Spade and shuffle? I don't get it. Oh, Iris, you're there too. You see, I've been keeping my desk beautifully covered in paper as always. You really must tidy it all, Mr. Naruhodo. No more excuses. But Miss Usato, but way I see it, all these papers building up on my desk like this are a reminder of my wonderfully diverse daily life. I like to leave them as they are so I would never forget how lucky I am to have such a varied experience. In that case, you should definitely have a third tidy. Then you'll be able to see your papers building up all over again and feel that joy renewed. Still cannot beat her in an argument even though I am the lawyer here. Lamau. I'm so pleased to see all of our sea creatures doing well in the aquarium. Yes, the prawns are still swimming and the anemones are still swaying. Obviously, I've been looking after them carefully. At first, I used to drool whenever I look at those juicy prawns, but not anymore. They're like part of family now. I don't suppose they ever know how close they were to meeting their maker. Okay, Iris. Tell me what.
It must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I call it the Hound of Baskervilles.
But then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it and put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it.
So nobody knows anything about it apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? And you wouldn't tell me how you'd come to know it.
Yes. Wait. My God. So my mother just she came back from the office because my father hasn't drank his medicine yet, and she brought us some Choco Blast or chocolate milkshake. Actually, it's just chocolate milkshake. Oops. In any case, I'm just going to drink while we're playing. Oh no, can you hear the vacuum cleaner's voice? You can hear the vacuum cleaner voice, aren't you? Can't you? I think it's time. It's time to duel.
Oh! It's time. I'm only sorry I had to keep it from you for so long, Iris.
The Hound of Baskervilles.
It was complete by accident. It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study and I saw something in his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, "The Hound of Baskervilles."
What?
My Baskerville story? Of course, I had no idea what it was at that time. But Father came in and...
Susato, what are you doing?
Oh, Father.
Did you look at those papers?
No, I simply read the label, that's all.
Well, put it out of your mind.
Sorry?
Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand? Why is it so secretive? Why are all of them are secretive about the Hound of Baskerville? Why?
But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan? I have no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholmes' exploits. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions, and there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I have no doubt that Father has very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still, I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you.
Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail of the case to the memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well.
So you're fully abreast of the situation already, Mr. Susato? Miss Susato, I'd expect nothing less, to be honest.
I will think our first port of call should be to investigate this Mr. Drebber, the engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick. Yes, a conjurer of sorts, by the sound of it, well known in the fields of the science and magic. Then we need to go and arrest him. Well, yes, he must know the truth behind the case, so I agree we really need to find the man.
It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down, which is a job for your police or a great detective.
Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? We don't have much time, so we need to get started right away, I think.
Good idea. Well, best of luck then.
Oh, you're not coming today?
I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later how you got on, won't you?
That was a little abrupt.
The pull of the herb market must be strong. No, she just want to have a time for herself because of what Susato said to her about the Hound of Baskerville. I think that's why. New location has been added. Let's just... Huh? What else do we have? There's nothing here? Aha! Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Stormheart? I wonder, I've never seen her before. Her? She's pretty. Ah, the young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result. Oh, you mean because of Professor Harebrine's experiment? Shame science being demonstrated at London's great exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish and now politicians are scrambling to respond. Lord Farnzik is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. The special dispensation that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time. It's scrap metal now, is it? Until later then, Lord Strongheart. Yes, thank you. She's pretty. Who was that? That was Courtney's site. Wait, I need... What? That was Dr. Courtney's scythe. Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. She's leading the forensic investigation team's handling of the scene. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. About Mr. Asman. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner office to re-evaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensic laboratory. Alright. Now, what were you to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. So he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. Anything we can ask? Oh, there is something. What is exactly the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before? The British Empire police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created a forensic investigation team a year ago now, unofficially of course, to pave the way. Goodness, a year ago? At next month's symposium, I intend to present the result of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics divisions. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly. What do you mean? For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London's scum is about to be rounded up and burned in the fires of hell. I intend to see it personally. by creating the finest police force in the world has ever known to protect our honor and our future. Look at those eyes. He means everywhere. He means everywhere. Dr. Sid is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the forensics division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of symposium, Miss Mikotoba.
Oh, yes, my lord.
Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month.
Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? With Professor Mikotoba, I mean. It was many years ago now, but yes. I remember Dr. Mikotoba very well. Dr. Mikotoba. If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
It was the year I was born, so yes, 16 years ago in fact.
Mikotoba was a young practitioner of forensic science and Jikoku accompanied him as a young promising judge. The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way. I didn't think you were. Dr. Mikotoba studied forensic at one of London's large hospitals, St. Sinner, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Said was also there then as it happened.
Then Dr. Said knows my father, does she?
She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I have no doubt they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total.
6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it? I lived with my grandmother in those days.
So he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years?
Rather suspicious.
What do you mean, why?
Well,
clearly something was going on at that time.
Lord Van Six.
I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zix, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mesmer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty, is that right? You Japanese are true, lad. You've done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave the rise to the Reaper.
What? Why?
When his brother, Clint Van Zix, was murdered. It was just after young Baroque had graduated from University of London and become a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing. Rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Some Londoners started to say that whether Bart Van Zix went and the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind.
Oh my word!
So Lord Van Zix isn't the Reaper? It's the ghost of his brother? Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circle. Oh yes, Lord Strongheart. Go ahead. It's about Professor Harebrind's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains if possible. Are you well versed in science then? Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently. Well, the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Said's team of forensic experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage as long as you touch nothing.
Thank you.
Being able to look at it is better than nothing.
And I'll be able to see it too.
Your time is up. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls.
We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you are so busy, my lord.
I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Lord Stockheart, Strongheart. New location has been added.
Oh, forensic laboratory. We'll go to the prison first. Oh my god, he's writing on the wall! What's he doing?
Yes. Oh my! The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations.
And he's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. And who is this young lady?
My name is Susatomi Kotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear, I'm sorry. If my press... Oh, I am sorry. I read that wrong. I owe you an apology to Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised I would in court this morning. Oh no, the whole miserable affair. It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot.
Professor Hairbrine? What have you been working on in your cell?
Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had to have. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to suppress your super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? Oh, no, actually, this is my autobiography.
Your autobiography?
How I was diddled and fiddled by Albert Hairbrine. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations.
Really?
I'm going to have to pay back all those loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see? So it's going to be a new serial publication from next month, part 1, an odd birth, an odd upbringing. You cannot beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talk a little more about the case? Oh, yes. Yes, of course. I've been working through that numbers. I was fiddled by the pair of them. By Asman and by that love engineer Drebber. We're not going to have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we? Converse, hi. Everything I believe in the past has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Asman, and the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning, I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you're aware of it or not. Ignorance is a pure excuse. The blame still lies on with me. Oh, he's such a good guy. He's really a good guy. He's really a good guy. I believe in me. He believed in me this morning, you know, Baruch did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Baruch wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? Did he really? I think I understand now why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. Why? After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, and not any lawyers even. I feel like I've dealt something finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor had to take on the case, if it was any other than Baruch, I'm sure the prosecution would have to declare my hypothesis completely and utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than that for me. But Baruch insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul. Aww. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. And what about the whole report side of things? How does that fit in the whole kind-hearted soul idea? Harassment. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? Yes, he did. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit humanity and must be pursued. He was so and he was so empathetic. But in reality, he was the mastermind. Of some fast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was a set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it, it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope, but they're burgeoning ideas full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we cannot afford it. Many of us take on very little part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe. It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Dreber. Dreber. Is he an engineer or a magician or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Asman first brought Mr. Dreber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the Kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There was no question that the man's genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. And there are no more clues you can give us to his whereabouts? I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the Kinesis machine, nothing else. Although, just once, I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Trevor's enormous fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine. Why didn't you mention this before?
Enoch Drebber's workshop? There's every chance we might find a man there. Shh. Lamau. So you've been to Drebber's place of work then? Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place, plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see? Where can I find it? You have to go there at once. There's a good chance that we'll find Drebber there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry. I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible, the pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best, the special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Oh, the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should have forget the secret formula and use that instead. What do you think, Miss Susato? Oh, the machine for your next birthday? I've never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop address, Professor? You don't have any business card from Mr. Drebber, for example? The man was clearly very cautious, Miss Sato. Yes, I do. He gave me his business cards once. Oh, right here. Look. What? Let me see that. Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address. No, well, I cannot say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Why is it useful? Let us see. Why is this useful? Oh! This dark smudge here. I think perhaps it's machine oil. Ah, yes, possibly. Professor Hairbrine mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber used, didn't he? He said it was specially imported, very high quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Yes, that's right. But more importantly, it's more fragrant than the finest perfume. So, excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. Don't worry, I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on there. Is that it? That's it. Let's go to experimentation stage. Yes, the experimentation stage. The Tower of, the Great Exhibition Grounds. Crystal Tower. That's it, Crystal Tower. Oh, cute, Gina. I had no idea there was so many people in the world. I know what you mean. It's really packed here today. It feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds at this point. Has it? I shut my brain down. I didn't really notice, to be honest. Gosh, I do wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Naruhodo. There you are. I have a feeling you lot would show your marks before long. Oh, Inspector Gregson. I see you're hard at working as usual. Warm greetings to you. Do hope you've been keeping well since last we went. What's with all the ceremony? We just saw each other in court this morning. Not you, Sunshine. The gentlewoman so loyally at your side. Oh. Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice.
He might be a bit rough on the edge, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. As you've probably guessed, we were hoping to investigate the scene some more. Right, well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi, get over here, Gina. Gina is so cute with a little doggy. She seems to be busy playing with a puppy, probably giving a traditional East End training. Gina? She's a police officer now? Amazing, isn't it? She's a good kid, actually. Heart's in the right place. So anyway, she got a detection bug, if you ask me. Yup, I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely. What do you mean? I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say goodbye to... It's time for me to say toodaloo to London. Oh no, really? That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted then? We'll come to see how you're getting along. Haha, not likely, but you're welcome to try. If you don't mind the trip to France, that is. To France? I'll be walking in the Paris Police Prefecture. Should be right up my alley. But France is an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there? That's the way of adult work works, sunshine. Now don't you go poking your nose in where it's not wanted. Gregson, I'm intending to take the kid with me when I go. What, you're taking Gina to Paris? Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what will become of her? I suppose he's worried she'll slip back into slipping her hands into people's pockets and purses. I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruto. I think he's worried about the Reaper. Oh, of course. So that's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, isn't it? Anyway, I haven't mentioned any of this to Gina, so don't go blabbling. You hear me? No, of course not. Gotta keep Dave safe and sound till all this over at least. Oi! Did you just call me a blooming Dave and Diva again? So you heard that, did ya? Right, well, any question about the scene you can put to my capable Detective Diva here. Detective Diva. Alright, you heard the boss. Inspector Lestrade in charge here now. I suppose I'd better keep my word and not mention anything about Paris. So, Gina, you've got a new dog, have you? It's so cute! Toby's name! So cute! It's so cute! Adorable, adorable it is! Okay, one first. Gina, we were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like. Oh, that's alright, is it? I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here. Ah, yes, Toby. Oh, that's cute. That's so cute. The machine that exploded must be at the top of the stair, I presume. I haven't actually seen it yet. So, if you don't mind... Sorry, you can go up there, Zeus. Oh. It's like I told Odo yesterday, even I ain't allowed near that wreck. What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it? The special dispensation for scientific equipment act? Is that what you're thinking of? That's the one. That's why only them are allowed to investigate it. what were they called again? The forensic something? The forensic investigation team? Is that what you were thinking of? That's the one, yeah. But isn't it the case that the special dispensation has been lifted? I think so. I don't really get it, but truthfully, yeah. If you're still supposed to get permission from some bigwig or other, as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something. I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Strongheart, perhaps? That's the one. Yeah! Apparently, it's always watching the time or something. Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Strongheart. Hey, you what? You've met him? Last time the boss walked out to go and see him, he waited 3 hours for the comfort office and came back sniveling. Tragic. Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene as long as we touch nothing. Oh yeah? Honestly. Alright then, go ahead. But if it turns out you're lying, it'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So you're still saying all this buffball, are ya? I'm sure everything will be fine. That really would be tragic. Poor Gregson, man! Cannot catch a break. By the way, why is the sound so slow? Wait. What happened to the sound? No. Like for me, I hear it like very slow, and it's not like in tune with the game that I'm playing. It's really slow. Was great, weren't I? Weren't it? I had right well. It was a new one on me that, you know, being in court and not spending the whole time worrying about I'm about to be found out. You did keep an awful lot of secrets in your previous court appearances, didn't you? Yeah, and all those make things hard for me every time and all. Just doing my job, Gina. But watching someone else get into the neck was a lot of fun, actually. It was amazing when you showed that Professor Dodgy experiment was a total fix. The Dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is a Mr. Naruhodo's client. Yes, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though. It's the boss I feel sorry for. Sent off to do the impossible. What do you mean? He's supposed to arrest the other cop, ain't he? And in time for tomorrow and all. You know, the Dodge engineer. What's his name again? Mr. Driver, you mean? Enoch Driver? That's the one, yeah. So the police are looking for this mysterious man with the black monocle. I guess they would be. I'm putting too much on the boss if you ask me. He's saying it's given arm got egg. Oh dear, but I do wonder if it's actually from all the fried food. So Scotland Yard is trying to track down Mr. Enoch Driver. I wonder if they had any luck. He's really funny looking, got two eyes, what don't match. Stole a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it or nothing. The old devil's got it. Sorry, who? You know, that skull in repose, always glugging down glasses of blood-red clunk. Ah, Lord Fanzix. He's always at it for me, that cove. Don't know what's this always calling but mine. Probably would have been a pretty good boss as it goes. Should rather be the Great Reaper's apprentice than the detective trainee. The way I see it, if the choice is between the cheap guzzling detectives and a callous glugging demigod, you're equally badly off with both. I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought it like that. But I've put that one to bed. Anyway, the point is, everyone at the yacht is dead set on finding this spaceship engineer. But there doesn't seem to be no clues to go on, so they're stuck. There's nothing that can lead us to Drebber at all. Toby! How about Toby? Where did you find that little mutt then, Gina? Oi, don't be so flaming rude, Odo. It's like the overreaction, don't you think? He ain't no mutt, alright? Toby's how they put it. Oh yeah! A bona fide detective! Sorry? I've given him proper title and everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby to you. More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he? Oh, so he's a police dog, is he? The police recruit dogs now? I've heard that they are already being used officially in Germany as part of their city policing. They're used for chasing criminals and such like. They have wonderful sense of smell, after all. I have fairly good sense of smell myself, as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from the undergarments that haven't. No, Phoenix. I mean, no, Naruhodo. That's not what it is. Oh, really? According to what the boss said, once Tobias got whip of your drawers, he could chase the set of the other side of the world. What? To the other side of the world? You mean he can swim? Mr. Naruhodo, I think you may have missed the point. By rather a wide margin. I just cannot believe this little dog has such an incredible skill. I'm telling you, Odo, there's gonna be more than dogs doing their bit for the police in the future. And you're correct. Yes, I agree. Right, one of these days they'll be barking orders at us lot, not the other way around. Oh dear, sorry Gina, I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much. Well anyway, whatever you think about that, Toby's here, Bison's first police dog. So cute! I found him on the East End just the other day. Someone had chucked him out on the street. There you go, I know she'd live to know somewhere. Oh Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? To children and to animals. Wait, can we present this and maybe Toby can actually Gina, it's the back of the card that's important. Hey, how come? There's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all. It turns out that this is a very high quality French machine oil. It has a very particular scent apparently. You don't say. Let's have a whiff then. You sure? I don't smell nothing. No, we didn't mean that you should smell it. Oh right! You mean Toby! Oof. His sense of smell is so good he can track people over the ocean, can he? Professor Hairbrine informed us that the oil is unique to Mr. Drebber's workshop. Kunkan. I think he picked up a scent. So you mean if you follow scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy Cove Smoke Shop? That's right. That's exactly what we're hoping. Alright then, we'll give it a go. I'll just borrow that. What? Wait, when did you... Once a pickpocket? If I can lead everyone to that Drebber Smoke Shop, I'll be the boss's boss before next week. Oh yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted. Poor Gregson. Right then, although, leave it to me. Sorry? We're gonna get going after that Dodge engineer cough right this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty here at all time. I'm afraid we cannot help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, Gina. Alright. Oh well, never mind. I ain't gonna be me who gets the neck in with the boss. Astaga. Poor Gregson. Again. Poor Gregson. Really poor Gregson. Ready, Toby? Got that oil sand up ya? Come on then, boy. See you later. I do hope the scent of the oil leads them to the swindler's workshop. Yes, I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. That's underhanded. That's a weird comment to say, Phoenix. Oh my god, Phoenix. No, not Phoenix. It's Naruhodo. What a shame that the symbolic landmark of the Great Exhibition has been damaged like that. Yes, unfortunately, the birdcage mass crashed into the most prominent position possible. The gods giving us warning, if you ask me. Man must travel under his own steam and not cut corners with the instantaneous kinesis. But imagine what might have happened if the birdcage had landed at a slightly different location. That toll could have been far worse. So I think perhaps it was a blessing in disguise. Well, the gods are benevolent, obviously. I did say it was just a warning. Man must travel under his own steam, or next time birdcage will rain down on all of you. Your faith is much more stronger than I realized. Well, how do you think I passed the entrance exam for Yume University? It wasn't by studying alone. My god. Ah, the Crystal Tower. I cannot believe I'm seeing it in such close proximity with my own eyes. You've really been looking forward to the Great Exhibition, haven't you, Mrs. Sato? Oh yes, when I found out that I had to return to Japan, I'm afraid I cursed my luck. But here you are back in London, gazing up at the magnificent tower. I know. Perhaps I was wrong to curse my luck so harshly. Oh, my back. My back hurt. Really hurt. Oh look, flying balloon. I've never seen one in the flash before. I cannot understand how they can fly, and so high up as well. Oh, but think of the view, Mr. Naruhodo. You must be able to see it for miles on miles. I do think of it, and it terrifies me. I mean, it would be certain death if you fell out. I'm sure they're perfectly safe. After all, they've been invented by some of the brightest minds in the world. Let's not forget that we know at least one has exploded. I'm sure there are other ways to fly. Yeah, there will be other ways to fly. Other ways to fly. Is there anything over here? There's just this mechanism. Doesn't really. I don't really need to examine it. Yes, we're going here. Wow! The Great Exhibition Grounds. Experimentation stage. Oh my, so this is the machine that was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place. Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It was little worse for wear at the moment. What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrine went to in order to obtain the research grant. No, the professor was strict as well. He didn't know anything about it. Yes, of course. It is amazing though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British. You're right about that. You'd never seen such a great deception in Japan, that's for sure. Oh look, is that? Oh! Van Zix? Van Zix? Oh no.
Oh no. No, you know scare. Ah. That's true. What is Lord Baron Fanzix doing here?
What is this? This wasn't here yesterday. Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air. That's right, the bird cage. According to what Professor Harebrand said in court, it's made out of wood. Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruhodo? I understand that forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they finished with their work. But sadly not with the body inside it. No, that's right. I know we're given strict instruction not to touch anything, but still, this is too important piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. Okay, birdcage into the... I want to speak to Fanzix, but like... Let's do anything else before doing that. I hear that the ride on the Ferris wheel is a favorite romantic outing among young London couples. I think the romance would slightly be spoiled by the abject terror, personally, but then I'm not a Londoner. Are you a little scared of heights, Mr. Naruhodo? It's not that I'm scared, not at all. It's just that staying on the ground seems much more safer. Well, perhaps I shall have to ask Iris and Mr. Sholmes to accompany me on it in that case. When you put it like that, part of me does want to give it a try. Oh dear, it is complicated for you, isn't it? Is that a way that Susato actually tried to ask out Naruhodo? Huh. Is she trying to ask Mr. Naruhodo out? Oh my god. What is this? Oh. What terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel grinders have buckled and twisted in the blast. And what they called the birdcage was right in the middle of it all, just here. But look, Mr. Naruhodo, that metal grill on the floor. Where? Where? Which one? Where? Look as though it's designed to... Oh! It does, doesn't it? If the floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred, the birdcage would have dropped through and disappeared from sight. I don't think there's any doubt that this was a very elaborate hoax, is there? That's a very important fact. Why didn't you put it in the court record? Oh, isn't it accelerating? All this different architecture from all corners of the world. It does make you feel a little bit like an explorer, doesn't it? I know that it's all subjective, but the onion-shaped roof have rather caught my attention personally. It is very subjective, isn't it? Japanese buildings with their wood and paper construction have excellent ventilation, and I've realized that British buildings being made from brick and stone are very strong and long-lasting. The more you know what things are done in other countries, the more you understand your own, I feel. Yes, I do agree with you there, but I cannot help wondering what an onion does for a roof of a building. I mean, I suppose it's playing on my mind because I don't like the taste of onions. You really oughtn't let your taste in vegetable dictate your taste in roof, Mr. Naruhodo. Lol. Is there anything to see here? There are scratches here. Look at the horn-shaped transmitting device. Isn't it amazing? That's exactly what I thought when I first saw it. It makes you think, doesn't it? It really, if only it had just been a normal horn, none of this would have happened. That's almost exactly what I thought as well. I bet I can predict that what you're going to say next in that case. You're about to say, nothing ever goes to plan, aren't you? Oh no, I would never say something like that. You've been glaring at them constantly since we come up here. Sorry, the feelings of wanting to ride in one and wanting to never set a foot in one are fighting out inside me. But if you don't look where you're walking, you might fall from the stage. I don't think I'd notice. That's how fiercely the battle inside me is raging. I think you should make a peace with riding in one, Mr. Naruhodo. I really would feel much safer that way. It really would feel much safer that way. I guess we need to talk to Van Dix then. Talk to him! Talk! Least approachable man in the world winner. 10 years in a row. Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistant stand firm behind you. Lord Van Dix? What? Well, beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? Wait, what am I accidentally touched that. I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently, Uniponies aren't equipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Oh well, thing is, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate on the condition that we didn't disturb anything. And yet you've managed to disturb me. Ah! Yes, ask him. Ask a lot of it, not at least in which that awful case, even though it has nothing to do with this. Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You won't know unless you try. Oh shoot, your brother Clint. So, Clint. Sick! What's the name of your older brother? I understand, Lord Franzix. Uniponies, I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So you've been investigating me, have you? Oh no, it's not like that. Well, alright, it is a bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Fanzix family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? Is there something funny? That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? There's more to it then? Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? You're too kind. Are you going to tar all Nipponese with the same brush next? So tell me, what's your interest in the historic incident? As it happens, Lord Franzix, there's a rather curious case that come to our attention. Are you aware of Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork by any chance? I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I featured in one of the display there for public scorn. Of course the infamous rebirth of the Bailey would have to be exhibited, wouldn't he? Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom. A particular waxwork which... Wait, you mean? Yes, it's the professor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak. I was unaware of that. It turned as white as shit. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Driver, already? Surely that goes without saying. We're very keen to see him found as well. The trouble is we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier. Which, according to Professor Hairbrine, was a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle. So I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not so possible, but we'd very much appreciate any more clues you can give us. Wow, Susato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns. Fine, why not? I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago. He's actually pretty handsome. Not gonna lie, he's pretty handsome. Though it appears he already had that black monocle at that time. What? Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us. We all need that man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph? What is it with Lord Franzix? Sometimes I just cannot work him out at all. The tension! The tension is there. You. The father requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you. Susato, are you alright? Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Franzix's apprentices, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Susato-san can see it too. It's Kazuma. It's Kazuma, definitely. Lord Franzix, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment? With him? Why? Kazuma-sama! No way! She just immediately say the name. Kazuma. I don't believe it. Your posture, your presence. It can only be. It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama? I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? Wait! Too late. What's going on here? Oh no. We have to talk to him about this. What is your interest in my apprentice, actually? Exactly. You act as if you know the man or something. Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago. Lord Strongheart introduced me to him. To me about 3 months ago now. With instruction to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you why, did he? The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself. He has amnesia? Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side. What? He's to serve as my judicial assistant on Lord Strongheart's orders. He'll be in court with us? Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course. Oh, yes, thank you. I definitely saw a reaction there. When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When he called out Kazuma-sama, when she called out. already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, yesterday, in fact, at Lord Frantic's office. I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us. I know. You're going to need to speak to him about that. Yes! Yes, 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 we need to. What sorts of problems? Foreign affairs problems. Well, we could do without that. Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mrs. Sato. Of course. Sholmes have so much. He has so much. What is it? He has so much secret. We need to know what happened. He has so much secret. Madam the spells. Oh my, no wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I like to turn my heels and go straight home via the confectionery. Being scared makes you crave for sweets? I can understand that. I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but there's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere. That's strange. He should be here investigating the abduction of the waxwork. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come again later. Really? He's not here? Oh, he's not here. He's really not here. Let's move. To the Forensic Science Laboratory. Wow. Wow, what is this? I believe this is it. Dr. Site's laboratory. That chemical smells really assaults the nose, and there's plenty of assault in the eyes here too. It looks as though the doctor isn't here, but we're here now, so we may as well do some sightseeing, don't you think? What a seasoned tourist you've become, Mr. Sato. We could have just have a little look around, being careful not to upset any restless souls. Okay, have a look around. Skeleton. Well, look at this. What a magnificent display, guys. The cherry wood has been polished to the high sheen, and the intricate carving is a joy to behold. Western cabinet makers really fair skilled, aren't they? Do you have nothing to say about the skeleton inside, Mr. Naruhodo? Sato, can't you tell that I'm trying very hard to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case? It's how I cope. I'll be sure to remember that from now on. That looks like an one crow up there. I know, and they haven't even twitched since we came in here. Well, no, they wouldn't have. They are taxidermy mounts, Mr. Naruhodo. I was afraid you were going to say that. I've been trying very hard to tell myself they're just sleeping with their eyes open. Yes, I think perhaps you were wise to put something like your Daruma doll in display in the office instead. What else? What else? This cabinet, I guess. I suppose this is Dr. Site's desk. I would not like to work in a place like this. It's very tidy though, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? As I imagine how efficiently she must work. The lighting is poor, which is bad for the eyes, and the chemical smell cannot be good for you. Not to mention the skeleton watching over you as you work, which is definitely bad for the nerves. Well, yes, those are valid concerns, I suppose. I can just about cope with one-eyed Daruma doll watching over me, but that's all. Look at all the bottles on the shelves in this cabinet. What an assortment of chemicals. This one here are labeled highly toxic. That's worrying because see, there are also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there. Oh yes, and they actually say salt and pepper on them. Lol. The doctor probably spent a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has smelled in here some things. Life goes on even when you're surrounded by death. There's a saw here. There's a saw, blood, and all the things you can imagine. What is this? A table and a set of sharp tools. When you considered each of in its isolation, it looks quite innocent. So why is it that when you put them side by side, they seem so horribly disturbing? It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. Seeing the large tome that's open on the desk makes me wonder, though. How can anybody concentrate on bookwork with this acrid odor of chemicals in the air? You'd either have to have cast iron constitution or a really terrible sense of smell. Those large jars seem to have pale things floating around inside them. I suppose they're fruit liquors or something, or like the pickled omiboshi plums we make. No, it's not pickled omiboshi. Our father had jars like that in his laboratory as well. I expect they're human organs in a preserving solution, probably as examples for some rare medical condition. Mrs. Sato, there are things in the world that's perfectly fine never to know about, ever. Oh. So as I said, I'm sure they're fruits, liquors, or umeboshi, aren't they? Of course. Is there anything else? Tushi. No, nothing. Nothing. Let's move. Where? Home suits. Probably. No, it's not. Lord Chief Justice. No. Naruhodo Legal's consistency. No. Prison. No. Do we need to present something? Wait, should we examine this? There's nothing to examine here except for this. This is broken. It's broken here. Maybe. Oh yes, that's just what I need to. What? No. No. Let's move to. I don't know. Maybe I'm not finished here. Maybe. I don't know. Yes. It's bad. Ouch, I'm a bad person. Yes, you are. You are a bad person. Bad. I don't think we can go inside anymore. Yeah, we don't want to bump into forensic investigation team. So Madam to spells again. No? Where do we go then? Where? Okay, I'm confused. Should I go and see Waltro? Should I? Prison. We already been to prison. We don't really need to go to prosecutor's office. We already been in experimentation stage. Madam to spells. Forensic. I guess we have to go to prison then, because that's the only person that we have to actually present things. Maybe if we present something to him? Maybe this one? No, it's not. Wait, maybe I need to examine this first. Ah, look here, Miss Susato. Yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such height? Yes, from the height in which the balloon was flying down into the crystal tower below. A fall about 30 feet or 9 meters, leaving the man inside tragically dead. If that's it, then... I don't think it's that, actually. I don't think it's this. Yeah, it's still the same. What should I do then? Okay. There's no one else that I can present. He's the only one. Okay, I'm gonna see through the wall through. I'm gonna see the wall through. Where is it? Wait, yeah, wait, this way. Wait. Okay, I get it. I got it. I think. Wait, what? It's not this one. It's this one. Okay, I got it. I don't know. Examine. Step ladder. Why do I feel stalled? I just managed to sidestep an argument. Lamau. Oh wait, I missed one. Look at this thick book here. Ah, it appears to be a counting ledger. It's a record of forensic investigation team spending, I think. Oh? What is it? It's clear that the team purchased various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... Well, one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scabbles every month? 500? They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses. I don't know, judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances, and Scabble's blade can be sharpened too. It does seem a bit strange, you're right. 500 scalpels a month? What could they possibly be using all of them for? What are you doing? Ah! Sorry, we had something we want to ask you, but you weren't here, so... So you thought you snoop around? That's acceptable to you people from the East, is it? Well, what do you want? Lord Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Asmon's body, I mean. So we came to ask you about your findings on Lord Strongheart's advice. Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately. So you want to know what the forensic investigation team determined from its examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Oda Yasmin, who has disappeared from the experimentation station amid an explosion, and Mr. Asman, who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower, were without question one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion. But that cannot be right. If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out.
Let's see, if two people who look very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as one single person had switched places, couldn't they?
Very true, but sadly in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person. The fingerprints at the scene makes the quite evident. Ah, fingerprints! They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system, but one day they will be used as an investigative aid as a matter of course.
Oh my! But that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So where does that leave us?
My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusion. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to another. This hasn't cleared anything up at all. It made the whole thing even more a mystery. Who? 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 Who is this? She looked cute.
Mama, what is this?
Ah! Where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? This is a lawyer, dear.
Oh,
Hello. To meet you, pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. You know Skinner.
Mama,
Yes.
can I cut this one up open?
What? My God.
I've never seen the inside of an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like.
Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see.
Boring.
I think I just had a near-death experience.
Oh dear, Mr. Naruhodo.
You're as pale as a corpse. Then let's leave before I'm mistaken for one. Well, I think we've done all the investigation we can here for now. If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber. I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak Mr. Sholmes at this point? We have things to discuss and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months. Yes, it's quite possible that he might know something useful, you're right. We ought to find him at Madame Tuspel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit. Yes, Iris told me all about his latest unusual venture. She looks pretty. Wait, can I investigate her? She doesn't mince her words, Miss Usado. I think perhaps it's time we left. Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork. Here we are again at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't got used to the place yet. I'd still like to turn my heels and go straight home via the confectionery, of course. Sato-san really is after something sweet today, isn't she? Eek! What's the matter? Look, Mr. Naruhodo, look at that waxwork! I'm quite sure it wasn't there before. It's Mr. Sholmes. It looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes down to the very last detail. Aha! What is it? Oh, sorry. I think you'll find that's the temporary waxwork himself. Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee. Oh yes, hello again. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I must say I'm quite spellbound by the great detective. He's a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back here where it belongs. You don't mean? But yes, the mystery is solved already. Wow, Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough. As you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties. Yes. His habitual duties? Alas, do not disturb, Poor Susato-san, she's looking very perplexed. So, how is this one? Ah yes, the heavy curtain in the middle of the House of Horrors. Whatever's on the other side of the, you just know it's being terrifying. It's going to be terrifying, don't you? The sense it's Madame Tuspel's special exhibit. It seems you have to pay extra to go inside. I know, can you believe that? Pay more money? As if we haven't been scared enough already. It's not my doing, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, Mr. Sholmes. Talk to me, bro. Talk to me. I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually. Oh, what do you... Indeed, my dear fellow, it is I. The world-famous great detective and waxwork, Sherlock Sholmes. Susato-san! Susato-san! Did she fainted because of Sherlock Sholmes? My most humble apologies. I thought I'd die and gone to eternal paradise for a moment, via London. My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. As long as it's not some questionable street food quality. I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes? Surely his secret identity, you understand? Though the case is largely solved now. Largely solved? We are talking about the waxwork adoption, I presume. Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess I am yet to partake in of a pie, proverbial or otherwise, or any food as far today for some reason. Rumble, 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 grrr. So much rumble echoed around the whole museum. So how did you manage to solve it so quickly? Oh well, do you remember it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone? Oh yes, it's most modern invention, allowing you to hold the conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet. This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the adoption. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing! Just between you and I, it will appear the culprit has always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event. Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no? Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive. But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary? In fact, that I must ask you to keep from mother to spell at all costs. Hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street after all. Poor Iris. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork? Yes, we have lots of things to discuss. We're in the process of trying to track somebody down. Oh? Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Dreber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Hairbrand and the engineer who built the kinesis machine. A swindler and an engineer? Quite the modern man. He also seemed to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have some few clues to go on, that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of the man's appearance, at least I may be in better position to help. Yes, Trevor's appearance. Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I shall gladly give you my thoughts on it. We have. But I want to know why he's lying about Kazuma's death. Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? Mr. Naruhodo, stay that piercing stare. What's this about? Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain, aboard the steamship, your words were very clear. So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what defense led to this curious murder. You told us that it was murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body. Indeed, and wherein lies the problem? We met him earlier today, the victim, Kazuma Asogi. You're quite sure? He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure it was Kazuma-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead. Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere of the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all. Ha ha! priceless. I don't suppose that performance will pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruhodo? I could believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake, but not you, Mr. Sholmes. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Sholmes. Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. Oh man. I'm hungry. Mr. Sholmes, would you cast over a photographic print? It's of Mr. Enoch Driver, the face of the engineer we seek. Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course. So looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive. Are you alright, Mr. Sholmes? Ah yes, forgive me. Very interesting, this. Very interesting indeed. What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden. I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me? Oh, well, what is it? As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned, and I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Oh, yes, the Professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it for a mere 5 shillings? That's a special, one-time only price, do you understand? What? The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor? Oh, well, we do have rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps you could postpone? The price is very reasonable, 5 shillings. I think you'll find it's well worth it. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes? Surely you need only to look at my expression to ascertain that this is a series of silliness. I can never tell with you. What's the point? Very well, couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings. I think the waxwork will look like the engineer. I think that's what happened here. So the special exhibit waits behind the curtain. I invite you to pursue it at your leisure. Well, the money's been spent, so let's go and see the special exhibit. Through those heavy curtains at last. What is it? Oh, the suspense is killing me. 5 shillings we had to pay. It doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it? No. Ah, we could ask Gina to retrieve it for us using her special skills. Pickpocketing police officer and diddling detectives. Is this what makes Britain great? Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands or cheap-laughing inspectors. Inspector Gregson comes off rather well in that list, I think. Just open it! Come on! I've been dying to know. Add to spells, special exhibit. What? What is this? Oh dear, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here. Miss Susado, I say we turn our heels and go straight home via a very big confectioner. we certainly cannot do that. We've paid 5 shillings already. True. What is this? Actually, now I'm looking a little more closely. We've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of that great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place. This must be what Mr. Sholmes when he said that the case was largely solved.
Be that as it may, Mr. Sholmes heavily implied that there'll be a clue that about the engineer here, didn't he? But where? Since we paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth investigation, shall we? Yes, we will get what we paid for. Is that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san's voice tremble? Kill. This must be the killer! The fiend known as the Professor. Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Tuspel said, he killed 5 victims, all of nobler and royal blood. The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place. I know, it looks like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only it had a head, that is. Perhaps you should examine a little more in detail. 139. So this is the condemned man. Yes, the so-called professor. Then perhaps his head was chopped off by the guillotine. But unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost. Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Miss Susato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it. See? Then perhaps Mr. Sholmes absentmindedly forgot to reattach it? That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it? Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the hat when he or she returned it to the museum? And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the hat hasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason, it means that we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh. There's something cut inside the convict's jackets here. What is it? It looks like a piece of broken glass. Okay. Theory time. This is my theory, okay? So I think that the waxwork was used to become the doppelganger or the double agent. No, the double body for Mr. Odiasman. So when he crashed on the Crystal Tower, it was this mannequin actually that was crashed on the Crystal Tower. But then the Odiasman was killed and then was replaced by and he replaced the waxwork. He was replaced. The Odiasman's body replaced the waxwork body, and that's why they say he's one and the same. The one inside the machine and the one who crashed down the Crystal Tower. But no, it's actually different body with the waxwork already been there. I think that's my theory. Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as in big buildings, for example. Oh, well, we've seen large glass buildings recently, haven't we? And some of the glass was broken too. You don't mean? Exactly, the Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition. But why would the glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside the waxwork's jacket? It makes you think, doesn't it? It makes you think. I actually have this theory from the first time we went to Madame Tuspel's. I actually have this theory. Earlier in the court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick. Now we discovered that the fragment of the glass here in this waxwork is it just a coincidence? Is there anything else that I can... Seems like there's nothing else. Now this guy though, This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real. It seems to be a young man in a white overcoat. And he has a large shovel in his hand too. Look! Perhaps you should investigate a little more in detail. Okay. What's this here? Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera. A camera, but it's so small. British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints? I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' invention as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man in a graveyard to be at night with a camera? I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment of dead body come back to as a ghost on film. We'll just borrow this for a little while, I think. By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see the picture was taken. What's photographic plate? It's a piece of glass coated in special emulsion that reacts to the light coming through the glass, the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look. You should see yourself, Susato-san. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you? So, shall we look at it? Hello? Oh, cannot do. How about this? No. Where is it? This one? Open it. Oh look, the cover camera open. Yes, now. There should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph if you want to take. If you want photograph you want to take, you see. Is something wrong? There's no plate. It had been removed. Oh, what a pity. But I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be an actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't an actual person. So we'd never have found a photographic print of the executed convict come back to life anyway. Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course. Poor Susato-san, she looks devastated. So there's nothing inside of it. Woohoo. Okay, we need to look at this guy a little more. A little more. Guess this one. Oh, the large shovel. He's holding it rather ominously, isn't he? What on earth was the man doing with the shovel in a graveyard in the middle of night? Miss Susato? Yes. That's a spade, isn't it? No, it's a shovel. No. Shovels are for digging and for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. We've been through this, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a shovel. No. Although we haven't considered trowels. We've allowed ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Perhaps you should concentrate on what the man was doing with the implement. You're right, though. What was the man doing in a graveyard in the first place? That's the real question. His face. I cannot see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just... Oh, do you think you should be a man handling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo? I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. It was Mr. Enoch. Huh? What on earth? How can... I didn't believe it. A black monocle. Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is... Yes. It's Enoch Drebber. The color of his hair is different, but it is unmistakably him. Indeed it is. Mr. Sholmes.
this man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in the exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely slow were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head, tote the suit, as Madam would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry Iris still waits my returns to Baker Street. Preferably with rations. Art! Do you know, though, something about this room is strange? 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 What do you mean? Well, the displays of the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not? Indeed they are, Miss Susato. Do go on. And as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it? I think it's time I educate you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago. Okay. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by a universe hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies. The Hounds of Baskerville! Oh no! Oh no, it's all coming together now. Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful! After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was the case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand? Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean that the professor's identity... As you've summarized, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair. Oh! The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. Came back to life? He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlight graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene as described by the sole witness of those chilling events. There was a witness? But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in a white overcoat. Enoch Drever. He saw it happen? So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drever. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of the night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearance, I would say he was about 20 years old. It's so horrifying. Scared out of his wits, the young driver ran to the nearby police station to report the accident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his white hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page on the Capitol. The public was frantic
for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you have seen, the exhibit was even created here at Madame Tussauds. I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly, but what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place, in a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night. Yes, what was he up to? The professor acts as of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest level of society. And since the killer's identity have never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had been before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, I can imagine the impact of the case must have had. But in the time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did the talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who has come back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did people stop believing it? Why, simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact. Well, what do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution. No! But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers. That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society and has been heard of him since. It's rather striking, then, that he would resurface now, don't you think? Of course, the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. But Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe that the incident was out-and-out lie. There must be some truth of it. There must be. Gina, what are you doing here? I asked Iris and she said that this way you ought to be so... Gina, not so loud in the museum. Madame Tussauds will have to take you a position as a waxwork if you're not careful. I think there might be a pressing concern. A more pressing concern. I still had some flush powder left from 6 months ago, so... Alright, Gina, we understand, but please, put down the gun. Sorry, I got scared. You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So, what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What do you think? We found it. We found that Tochikov's workshop. What? You found Drebber's workshop? Yep. Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in the drag. So come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. Alright then. See you there. What is wrong with you, Sholmes? You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still. What? I know my place. In the exhibit over there. Oh dear, someone is feeling sorry for himself. Let's go, Mr. Sholmes. You're coming. Your words harden me, I must say, but if I were to shirk my duties here, Madam would have me pay monetary recompenses and Iris' dinner's plate would be empty once more. Forget that, I'll pay for everything. You're so nice. Then there's no moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail the carriage at once. No offer to share the cost from Mr. Sholmes, then. I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Mrs. Susato. Alright, let's go. You're so nice, actually paying for that. What the... That looks like... Oh, Another super high voltage insidious kinesis machine. Indeed, it will appear so, though only prototype naturally. As we got here then. Gina! Well done for finding this place. In such little time. You're really working miracles. It's Toby here who's the miracle walker. Oof. I thought you lot would show up before long. Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted bro. He looks like he's eating a lemon, not the bag of fish and chips. So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer? Sadly not. We didn't find a soul in here. Oh, what a shame. Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us the chance to investigate. According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I? Thank you. Anyway, if you're hoping to snoop around here, I'd get cracking. Law forensics and the forensic investigation team are on their way here as we speak. Them again. I imagine you got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types. Right. So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance. And you, Sholmes. Pardon? They take it for less kindly to a great detective than they do to lawyers. Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an conspicuous Maxwell model. Right then. Let's see what we can find here. Ha! This is its European style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside. Oh, do you suppose crossbow bolts? This and just the right size for the bow you lot turn up at the exhibition ground. In other words, yup, that's more evidence to support your theory. It also goes to show Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes to the whole scam. This door doesn't want to open. Yeah, looks like it got a pretty hefty lock on it. There's a special locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here. With permission, Inspector, I could have that lock open in less than a minute. Well, you don't have permission, and no one's giving it to you. Gregson Lucas thought he really enjoyed that. Well, there's no sign of anybody on the other side. No, Drebber must have fell flat at the first sign of danger. I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. That machine is covered by special dispensation for scientific equipment. There would be serious repercussion if we were to examine from the crown of the government. Gina and Sholmes, no! Well, those two doesn't seem to be holding back. It's part hollow inside, no working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No loose chains drop on the floor or nothing. Not even bone for Toby, my dear fella. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they? I think that's just those two, Susato. What on earth is this? An aeroplane, Mr. Naruhodo. One day, scientists believe it will allow humans to fly freely in the skies. Is that how the trick will be described, is it? Sorry? Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, is it? Oh, well, this model is yes, but the real aeroplane would actually fly high in the sky. Well, suspended from somewhere even higher than the sky, of course. Because large metal objects obviously cannot really stay in mid-air unsupported. So to you, the solution is every taller towers? Ever taller towers?
is this? Ah, this appears to be the most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? It's an impressive looking back massager, that's for sure. It's a trophy, Ryunosuke. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulders in a few times with that, your aches and pain will soon go away. It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no longer her heir owner. Ah. Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Eric Driver conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. How about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course. He's not going to let that go, is he? It's curious though, isn't it? I would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. Tut. Oh, there's someone. Oh, is there something wrong, Mrs. Sato? Well, I thought I heard noise from the far side of the door. Well, Gina, did you hear that too? Yeah, I heard it all. What you reckon, Toby? Woof woof. Right, man, the grease. What? Who's ever in there? Open up! This is Scotland Yard! Squeak clunk, huh? Oh my, someone is in there! Ah, the rodent didn't lock! My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were countenance, I could unlock the door in less than a minute. Fine, I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door. There, you may enter at will. You've confused minutes with seconds, I think. Time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency. There's a strong possibility that beyond this door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow. Yes. What? What? Huh? What's happening here? It's a bomb! Why is everything upside down? Rats, there ain't no one in here after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises. Maybe that was the sound Rubber running away. There's only one door in this room. And no windows that could afford an escape route. There he is, look at that. There's a freaking footprint in the ceiling. I don't know why, but there is a footprint in the ceiling. And no windows could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high. What's that up there? Aren't they footprints on the ceiling? Blow me! What? We are here then. Looks like someone tried to burn something in a hurry. Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints. To what? To that Professor Highbrand's Barmy machine, is it? Blimey! If we had this, there'd be no need to muck around trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There's something of great interest in here too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of the pillar. A rope? What significance about it? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo. We must investigate the entire room truly, and before the forensic investigation team arrive too. Yeah, there's a bomb. Like in the middle of the of the room, there's a bomb.
Mr. Naruhodo, yes, in point, in fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. I've never seen anything like it before. It looks like a bottle of stick cigars wrapped in a... Miss Sato, what's the matter? That's the... Surely that's a time bomb, is it? What did you say? A time bomb? I'm sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? You truly were one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Huh. You don't know nothing, do you, Naruhodo? You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Jin? I invite you to consult the dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it is a very similar appearance. Oh well, thank goodness. But then what is it? I see, so that's it. Goodness, Mr. Sholmes, have you seen the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair. For I'm fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardship that come with being a great detective, Mr. Sato. Here we go. I have a great deduction coming. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself. Oh, but how could you? And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is, without the question, completely genuine. Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything. It will be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective civics duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. Oh, Gregson! Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway. Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such a fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done. You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicated this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Mr. Sato. Oh, yes. I'd be delighted. So shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Flip furniture. Flip furniture. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed and the table, the chair, the lamp, everything is upside down. Is it? Is that it? The bomb is not upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned in the ceiling before filing straight down to the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling. Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here is gravity. It will appear that technology has succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the earth. Not yet. I don't think it is in this time. For the gravity in this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part of gravity displayed in the whole business. Huh? I quite understand your skepticism, Mr. Sato. I too was incredulous at first. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity... No, it's not. But then, why does it have a clock on it? A most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controlled when the gravity direction will switch.
There was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment the restoration occurred. Yes, the reason everything here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need to look no further to explain the state in which we have found this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Drebber before being restored to the normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I've witnessed precisely this scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Lol. Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer's friend's aim? Undoubtedly, the greatest clue we have to explain his action is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question that those whose answer will lead us to neatly the truth, my dear madam. The reason for the footprints in the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Of course, Drebber's aim was singular, to escape. However, there's but one way into his room, accepting the skylight, that is. Well, that is cool. By inverting the gravity here, Drebber was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape to the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving the footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. If the gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Drebber have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was concerned with nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one end to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling. Which explained how Drebber was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. No, don't do it. Don't do it for fun. Reversing gravity is not the thing you can do. Except you're in space. If you're in space, then you can. Gregson is speechless, and Gina is not listening anymore. She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there's just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean? I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. But your whole deduction hinges on it. But my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, however improbable it may seem. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with the exact phrasing. My original was clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I've read something that Mrs. Sato lent me once. Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. The spell's broken at last. The rope you found on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was. In lonely coils near the wall. But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape in the way you described it, wouldn't it still be tied into the wall? mystery is inevitable unravel in the end, as I think you'll find the ropes. And as evidence as such, you need only to look at the mystery we face in the room, now skillfully unraveled. The argument is as circular as the coils of rope. Lol. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yes, you're right. And we must do it quickly before Enoch Drebber gets too far away. If you're ready, then let us resume. Sherlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. The disarray, the bed, the table, the chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as though everything they recently have wasn't in the scene, before falling straight down the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling. Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here. The animation is so good actually. The animation is really good. It's crafty. It will appear that technology has at least succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the earth. But the gravity in this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the bad gravity played on this whole business. To think gravity could have been reversed in this very room, I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive such an explanation. But the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so... Yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once. Ooh, that's unusually merciless of you, Mr. Sato. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said that, didn't he? While refusing to part with his dream of anti-gravity devices. Yes, I suppose so. Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. Inverted furniture. Inverted furniture. Inverted furniture. Upright face. Large safe. Is it this one? Well, well, well! I wasn't expecting to find a pretty bunch of flowers in here, that's for sure. Oh, look at that! I know, that slender little face looks about to just topple at any moment, but the flowers are thriving. Somehow, it makes you think of fragility of life, wouldn't you say? To be honest, Mr. Naruhodo, something else about it made rather deeper impression on me. Because it's upright? But the safe is also upright. Or because it's bolted. Oh look, Mr. Sato, when everything seems to be upside down in here, this safe is conspicuously the way right up. Yes, that's true. But look more closely at the safe suite. Ah, that's large. A lot of large bolts facing into the floor. Think before you speak. That's what you want to say, isn't it? I really put my foot in the mouth there. Certainly didn't say that. If that's the case, then it's this one then. Upright face. The upright face clearly reveals the truth about the part of gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you suppressed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No one's trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes. Trust me. As you rightly say, although it appears at first glance that all furniture in this room are upside down, this unassuming slender face is standing cleanly to attention.
Unlike the large safe, there is nothing affixing to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never intended at all, inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes. But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deduction. Now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, that remains but another possibility. You don't say. Someone deliberately turned every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but that leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would someone choose to do that? Quite and naturally, there is an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. Why would you say that again? He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he? I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong. Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all this furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason. I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though. Well, let's look around and see if their answer presents itself. Why would they want to... Oh... Look, there's something written on the underside of this armchair. Oh yes, safe 432582. Safe? As in safe and secure? As in secure lockable box, I think. Admittedly more likely. Well, there's a large safe bottle on the floor on the other side of the room, so yes. So you mean this number would let us to open it? I wonder why it's written here though. I think it's this one. Let's see. Yes! I was right. I was right. Yes, the reason why everything is in here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination. Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not? Yes, last year, when I bought the lottery ticket and noted the ticket number down on the inside of the cover of the book just in case. That's it, for people who are forgetful souls at heart and always make a written note of important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think. And what pray happened next, Mr. Naruhodo? When the day of the draw came around, I'd forgotten which book I'd written the number in and had to turn my room upside down to find it. That's it, for people who are forgotten at soul and heart, and always forget where they noted things down. Not if you always note things in the same place. I actually won the second prize, you know. But I couldn't remember which magazine I'd slipped the ticket into, so I had to... Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo, but I believe I've proved my point now. Which is that the very similar second scenario has clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one, leading to the state of which we find the room now. Yes, Mr. Drebber overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. To find the safe combination. Solved. Now let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer's friend saying? Indubitably, the greatest school with a safe explanation is above our heads. Yes, how it's possible that there are footprints all the way up there in the ceiling? The question also answered immediately through the truth. My dear madam, the reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because there's a nearby skylight. I don't think so. Well, if a change in the direction of gravity cannot explain it, then how did these footprints get there? Yes, I feel as though the particular mystery has just become very harder, even harder to solve. I cannot think of any other way to explain it all. Oh, life is so much simpler in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed. It was minutes ago, and those halcyon days never existed in the first place. Well, I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail. Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what got us into this situation in the first place.
Balloon? Huh? The reason the footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoes? It's hard to believe, but there's shoe up there, look!
Oh yes, and there are more footprints in this little balloon too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and become lodged, don't you think? If so, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up to the ceiling though? Oh dear, that's beyond me, I'm afraid.
It's this shoe.
Try it.
The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In the other words, the aim was never the skyline at all, but the balloon.
But for what purpose?
Green balloon, that seems somewhat familiar data.
Ah!
It was piece of a green balloon's envelope that Mr. Narhoda and Iris found at the scene. And inside the green balloon was Master God's claim he saw above the stage when the incident occurred. Was the second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kiness deception. You mean to say, if we assume the balloon is here as a model of one of the use that day, there is a strong possibility that something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach, hence why he resorted to a projectile named the shoe. Oh! Most probably Drebber intended to tear a hole in the envelope by assailing it with the shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted by the shoe itself, the comparison of those lofty heights. Oh dear, we desperately need to examine the balloon. If only there was some way we could see inside. You may recall that I found in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? No! Why would it be? Mr. Sholm has managed to bring a deduction back to the rope. Alright, I have to admit that was clever. So we just throw the rope up the balloon and pull it down to us on the ground, which is much easier said than done, I feel, and could take us very long time as well. True, perhaps we need more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we? Wait, do we? Crossbow. Crossbow. To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow? That was found on the scene, in fact, and in all likelihood belongs to Mr. Drebber. If the man had only brought it away with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such critical time as this. What? What the hell is going on? So shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon? It's the head of the wax. I knew it. Waxwork? Indeed it is. It's a waxwork head inside of metal mask. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock. So we cannot see the face inside, that means. Just a moment, this is the head of a waxwork model? Does that mean... Oh goodness! I see you've joined the dots, Miss Usato. Excellent. Ah, of course, a headless waxwork model.
The case of the abducted Madame Tuspel's model that you largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was, but I believe that Madame Tuspel will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you have now summarized, is the head of the infamous professor. Yes, but why is it here? This conclusive confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tuspel and returning it since Pt3 earlier today was none other than Enoch Draver. This is incredible. Professor Harebrine's case and the waxwork adoption are inextricably linked by Enoch Draver's workshop. Huh. Well, it appears our logical pleasure course has come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. The architect? You mean Mr. Draver? As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously, the man must still have been here in the room. What? And his location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction. Enoch Draver is here right now somewhere in this room. So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you do the honors? Yes, of course. Mr. Draver's hiding place must be the safe. The wardrobe? The safe? Nah, it must be the safe, isn't it? Because, like, come on. It's much more safer when he goes to hiding in the safe rather than the wardrobe. Because if you go to the wardrobe, you're like, everyone can, like, immediately open it and tell that you're there. But if it's a safe, I don't know. I don't know. Look at all the mess in front of the safe. Yes, pens and counting and ledgers. Almost as if someone is in a hurry to empty the contents of the safe, in fact. Ah, yes, it is the safe. Before we gain access to this back room, we heard noises from in here, which tell us that the engineer was still in the building at the point in time. He was in fact searching for the combination to his safe. And pressed for time made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process, from which he can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Draver is at this very moment inside the safe. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. Solved. Is he still there? Is he really there? Elementary. If he really is there, then... So, Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide and seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? Let's see. The combination was 1432582. I knew that. I knew that. Alright then, here goes. Lol. You found me. He cute. What the heck? What the heck is happening? What? Okay, this guy's not cute. This guy is weird.
Right then, sir, Mr. Enoch Driver, I presume. Correct. You better start talking. You tricked Professor Hairbrain with that bogus machine you built. And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork for Madame Tuspells as well. But I would be delighted to answer you many questions. Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate? Your parcel? I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in the most prominent position. Ah! Ha 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 ha. I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me then? No! Mr. Sholmes, with only 7 seconds to spare. That was close to comfort. I've got one foot in the grave already. Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed? Mr. Sholmes' seduction can be completely life-altering, can they? Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say. Anti-gravity devices doesn't exist. I wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes. Okay, I won't examine. Do I? Let's just examine. What was the sideways glance, the aid of Mr. Naruhodo? I thought that the reason meaning from the movement of the people's eye was your specialty, Mr. Sholmes. Never mind that now. Let's see what Mr. Dreb has to say for himself. What on earth happened in here? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. Yeah, well, we'll be giving it thorough going over, don't you worry, driver. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That is what I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bowl. Whistling? Oh, that would have been me. Oh. For some reason, I woke to find Vettel today. No worse, just tightly squished chips. Clearly, I must have I have a screw loose, though I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, so as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly the rope was too short. So then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the crafters. And after that you hid yourself in the safe? Having first set this parcel ticking. Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. Got a death wish, have ya? Hiding right beside a ticking time bomb. Please, why do you suppose I choose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe, it's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it. So in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely. But once you've climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. So, it is... I had always intended to blow this place to smithereens in any case.
I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up with my plans.
Do you mean to say you were planning to blow us all up?
No, that was unforeseen.
What do you mean?
Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. I calculated the time required for the trip to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless discourse in here threw a spanner in the works.
Is something wrong, Rexon?
Do I have something on my face besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth? I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. But what would the two incidents that you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor Hairbrand's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this hat belonged to. That's no ordinary hat, you know. That's the hat of the professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as protection. After all, that's enough! What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here. Yes, well... There's sight again, so the forensic investigation team are here. And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew of this, you'd be finished. You lot, leave at once. My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, that's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Syde? Hello, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, no Dr. Syde? If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, then you're quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell, you... Get out! Wait. Okay, I'm here. People always knock on my door. Okay. People knock on my door. Yeah, but of course we'll show ourselves to the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? It will appear that our delightfully entertaining investigation had to run their course today. But Mr. Sholmes, let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hand. I say get out! Now! All of you! Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. Patient Gregson. Oh my god, poor Gregson. Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off.
If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set in here. That's this lot, this arm. Spectre! Something given you chuckle as it, Drebber? So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Do you know? Yes, you did disarm that one. What you... That one? You mean... There's another one. What? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Hairbrand's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. Jesus, that man's crazy. To be continued. I'm done. Save the progress. Please. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That's pretty good actually. I'm really excited for the part where we're gonna face to face challenging Kazuma, I guess. What not challenging, like what is it? Face to face meeting? Face to face meeting with Kazuma. I really think that it's gonna be epic. And whatever the reason why Dr. Mikotoba is like having so many secrets, and Mr. Shoms also have many secrets, I think the professor also has its own arc, I guess. But I think it's this one here. It's for this episode. The other episode then would actually explain what about the Dr. Mikotoba's secret, Mr. Shom's secrets, and things like that. But the professor is like this arc, I think. Anyway, thank you for watching. Future me, thank you for watching. And as always, leave like and subscribe. No, it's not as always. It's not as always. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, so bye. I don't know how to end this stream. I'm gonna eat. I'm hungry. Bye bye.